What's going on, Imperials? Emperor Cubone here. I've talked before about some of the shinies that I've found in the Pokemon games, but I didn't get to list all of them. So, here are even more shiny Pokemon stories. After I had gotten my favorite Pokemon as a shiny, I decided I wanted to do the same with another of my favorites, this time being Umbreon. So I searched the GTS, and through several tedious and convoluted trades, I finally got a shiny Eevee. I liked how that turned out, so I did even more trades, and eventually I ended up with 5 shiny Eevees in total. I've still yet to decide what to evolve all of them into, but once I do, I'll have 5 shiny Eeveelutions. I also used the GTS to try and complete the Pokédex by getting all the rare legendaries. I managed to get a Darkrai, and thought it would be nice to get another one. So I saw someone asking for a regular Darkrai in exchange for their shiny one. I thought, is there any downside to this? And quickly made the exchange. I also traded my Snorlax from 4th Gen that I had trained to level 100 for a shiny Jirachi. It was a bit harder to let him go, but there's about no more important thing than a rare shiny legendary. At some point I also managed to wrangle a shiny Arceus and a shiny Manaphy into the mix. And of course there were the shiny Xerneas and Yveltal events. I mentioned last time about playing through White 2 multiple times. Not because it's one of my favorites, but because of the post-game. If you battle all the way through the White Tree Hollow, and defeat the final boss, Alder's grandson, he will give you a shiny Dratini. This, like the Red Gyarados, is one of the only guaranteed shinies that you can find in the games. However, this one requires much more work than just showing up on a rainy day. But playing through the game multiple times means I have a shiny Dratini, Dragonair, and Dragonite in my PC. I felt like playing through Kalos again, but didn't want to restart my Y version, so I bought X. After playing for several hours, I was traveling back along Route 2, and ran into a shiny Bunnelby. Which is fortunate, because I told myself that is the only way I would ever use a Diggersby. He is much less disgusting in shiny form. I had a friend that I worked with that I liked to play Pokemon with too, but apparently they didn't know about the free giveaways that were happening every month for the 20th anniversary. They already had a Mew from somewhere else, but missed the Celebi. I got one for each of the Gen 6 games that I had, and also still had the ones from the Gen 4 giveaway with the Ilex Forest event, so I offered to give her one. I would have given her any old random Pokemon, but she said she felt bad for taking something so valuable, so she gave me a shiny Nincada she had recently found on Omega Ruby. We traded, and I evolved it into a shiny Ninjask and a shiny Shedinja, getting 2 for the price of 1. We stopped working together just before Sun and Moon came out, so for me, it felt eerily similar to when Ash would say goodbye to his friends just before departing for a completely new region. I wanted to restart Soul Silver, again, but I hadn't caught all the legendaries, so I went to work rounding them up. And when I finally got to Mewtwo, I thought I would try my hand at soft resetting to get a shiny. I tried that on and off for a little while, just kind of in the background while doing other things. I can't even tell you how many times I reset it, but eventually a green Mewtwo popped out. I was extremely excited that it had worked. I remember thinking that despite how much I had actually played Soul Silver, that was only the second shiny that I had gotten besides the one that's handed to you. But not a week later, when looking for Latios between routes 24 and 25 in Kanto, I glanced down to see some weird golden trophy thing. I couldn't make it out at first, but then I realized it was a shiny Bellsprout. Then, while playing through the story again, I got to Lugia, and thought I might as well try resetting for him too. All in all, I think it took less game time than it did with Mewtwo, but eventually I got a red Lugia to come out. I had been using a themed team of all flying types, so I figured if anyone deserved a spot on the team, it was a shiny Lugia. Of all the shinies I've gotten, these two are probably the best for being the rewarding payoff to a lot of hard work. 2 of my favorite Pokemon from X and Y were Aegislash and Tyrantrum, so I decided I'd breed the shiny forms of those Pokemon as well. I put Tyrantrum to work in Y, and Aegislash in Alpha Sapphire. After about 100 eggs or so, I hatched a shiny Honedge, but Tyrunt was being a bit more stubborn and taking much too long for my taste, so I got on the GTS to grab a shiny Tyrunt for myself. But I do still intend to hatch one of my own, eventually. I stumbled across a shiny Durant in a Horde on Route 18 of Kalos. So that got me to try looking through Hordes in other places. After many tries of this method, I finally got an amazing looking shiny Trevenant on Route 20 below Snowbell City, and caught a shiny Floatzel in Victory Road with a dive ball. Finally, I got to play the newest Pokemon games in the Alola region. I was looking for the elusive Bagon on that one spot on Route 3 when I found a shiny Yungoos. I caught it and saved the game at 63 hours exactly. And the very next encounter was the Bagon I was looking for. It was a very good few minutes. The next time was much later. I had already completed the Pokédex, but was working on getting a living Pokédex in all of my boxes. So I was looking for a Munchlax on Route 1, when some strange thing appeared before me. It looked like a big sweet potato. But then the perspective changed a little bit and it sparkled. That's when I realized it was a shiny Metapod. I caught it and evolved it into a Butterfree. Quite soon after, I was training in the Pony Plains at night, like usual, and I ran into an Alolan Raticate, except this one was shiny. I nabbed it with a Quick Ball. All these chance encounters really made me want to find the shinies that I actually wanted. I tried the SOS battle method a couple of different times with Rockruff, having one of them call in reinforcements over and over again. If you've seen my Team for Sun and Moon video, then you know how highly I think of Lycanroc. I drew comparisons to Tiger from Monster Rancher, and I told myself, before the games even came out, that if his shiny form were blue, I'd stop at nothing to get it. And guess what they did? So, as a man of my word, I had no choice. And finally, it worked. I found a shiny Rockruff and evolved it into Lycanroc midday form, nicknaming it Tiger. I hope to find another one so that I can nickname it Wergarurumon. I haven't checked, but hopefully that name isn't too long. And Imperials, I kid you not, just a few hours after I had finished editing this very video, I ran into a shiny Haunter on my Sun version, meaning that I had to go back and change it. That just goes to show you that a shiny can happen at any time, and that you should always be at least somewhat prepared to have to deal with one. Well, there you have it. Now you know every shiny Pokemon that I have, even if some of them aren't the coolest or best looking ones. I know that this won't be it, as I intend to get as many shinies as I'm able. What sorts of shinies do you have? Are you hunting for any in particular? Let me know down in the comments. Also be sure to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe so that you too can become an Imperial today. And we'll see you around next time!